Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to assemble your air sensor. So to start off with your material list, you'll need a 10K resistor. That's brown, black, orange. You'll need an RGB LED. This is common anode. You'll need a photon chip with the headers. And I've used this 3D printed case. The instructions are on my website. You can use anything as a stand, a yogurt container, anything that will just stand it up vertically if you don't have a 3D printer or can't print it. And then you'll also need a Shinye PPD42 air sensor, so you can pick these up online as well. I covered the opening with a piece of tinfoil and tape to block out any stray light from entering the sensor. And then I just use a small screw and a bolt to attach this to the stand so that I have that holding it upright. Then you'll need some wires, some 6-inch female to female wires. I have all different colors just to kind of help the organization of putting it together. So the first thing I want to do is I want to attach all the wires to the photon first. That makes it easier to attach the wires to the other things. So I'm going to start with it held in this position, so the charge port is up, the USB port. And then you notice if you look really closely, the pins are labeled D4, D5, things like that. So they're written in blue there. So that's what I'll be referring to when I say D1 or D2 or things like that, is what it says in that blue color along the edge of that pin. Okay. So the first one I'm going to start with is D0, and I'm going to do that in orange. So D0 is the first pin down here, and I'll use an orange wire for that. Next one is D1, right next to it. I'll go with a red wire. And just push them up till they're snug. Then I'm going to go with D2 as the green wire. These wires are controlling the LED. And then I'm going to go with D3 as the blue wire. So what we have is the orange that's going to be in control of the power on the LED, and then red for the red color, green for the green of the LED, and then blue for the blue color of the LED. Alright, and then on D6, which is up a little bit farther, so I'm going to skip 2 pins, and I'm going to put the purple wire on D6. So this wire is the wire that's going to read from the sensor and communicate back to the photon as to what is the air quality. Alright, and then on the same side there is a pin labeled ground, and it is right next to D7, so skip a pin, and it's going to be the gray pin. Alright, on the other side of the photon we're going to use a yellow wire for the very first pin that says VN, and we're going to actually pull voltage off that pin to run our sensor on VN. Next to that is the ground, and we're going to do that one in black. And we'll have one more wire left over, that is the brown wire, and we'll show you where that goes. Alright, so now I need to feed these wires into my stand. So to do that, I just kind of get them all grouped together and push them through the slot. And it doesn't matter if they're really in order, they'll kind of sort themselves out as you pull them through. And do make sure you have it pointed the correct direction, so the charged USB port is facing out the back. And then I'll just pull these through, try and keep them straightened out. It's a lot easier to put the wires on beforehand. It's a little tricky to reach underneath it and to get them all in. So there you have it. All the wires are hanging out. All of them are inputted, and I'll just make sure they're all pushed up, all connected, none of them loosened up, and it should be sitting there nicely. The next thing I'm going to add is this RGB LED. It has a long leg on the second leg, so I'm going to go ahead and put that second leg in the second spot. And then you just kind of have to bend the wires and get them to fit in the holes. So all those wires are sitting in their own separate spot. And then I'm going to hook up the resistor. So there's two holes on the side here, and I'm just going to bend the legs on the resistor so that it sits close to the middle, and then the legs will be hanging down from there. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the LED first. So I'm going to go with the orange wire on the longest pin. The red wire is then going to go on the first pin. And these ones you have to kind of push up a little bit just to get them to snug on. They're not going to get really snug, but they'll hold on pretty well. The next color I need is the green. So I'll put the green on this pin, and then blue is going to go to the last pin. Red, orange, green, blue is the order that these are going in. Alright, next up I'm going to use the resistor. So I'm going to take my gray wire and I'm going to hook that to one of the legs of the resistors. It doesn't matter. By the way, the color of these wires doesn't matter either. If you have all white wires or something, the color doesn't matter. And then I'm going to take my brown wire and go to the other leg of the resistor. So that brown wire wasn't used, so I'm going to bring that brown wire in. So now my wires are hooked up to my resistor and they're hooked up to my LED. Only thing left is to hook up my sensor. So I'm going to spin it around, and the sensor has the pins in this wiring harness. So yours might have come with wires for the wiring harness. I'm not going to use those. So on the sensor, I'm going to put this brown wire on the last pin. That is the wire that's going to change the sensitivity to be a little more sensitive. I'm going to skip the next pin. So this brown pin is what we call pin 5. It says 5 next to it. So I'm going to skip a pin. I'm going to go with yellow on the next pin. Then purple, then black. And once again, push them all the way up, get them on there snugly. So brown, skip a pin, yellow, purple, and then black. So that should do it. That's all the pins in place. Next, what you'll want to do is to hook up the power to it, make sure the code's on it, and it should be up and running and good to go for you.